like this, okay? We're gonna start out high. And I'm gonna show you and tell you the reason why. Because we're gonna work angles. All right, we're gonna work bad angles. And this is how we work bad angles. So, get this guy up here. Just imagine he's 9 years old, you know, for right now. All right, so when he hits this ball here, his hands are staying in this position here. Now this is a 0. This is a 0 degree plane right here, 0 degree. We start on a 0 degree because what we're going to do with this is we're not going to shift our hands down when we move the ball. We're going to shift the what? The bat head. Now we're going to shift the bat head. And then we start creating better angles with the bat head, and the bat head can travel faster than what your hands can down. The bat head can travel. Our hands travel slow. Not only do they travel slow, when you're at this angle here, we only have a couple of different spots. Then we hit the ball. If we hit the ball with our hands even like this, we're either going to hit it square and get a line drive out of it, or we're going to hit it on top of the bat, just a little bit on top of the bat. What's going to happen? You're going to get a lot, too much backspin, and what's the ball going to do? It's just going to pop up. You might get one that's maybe semi-deep to the outfield, but that's it. You're never going to get any launch out of it, okay? So what we do is, when we teach on the tee at this height right here, we're teaching 0 degree and having our hands driving through the ball here. And he's going to take a couple of cuts like this, and then we're going to move the ball down to a more of a 15 degree. So now, if we're on a pie, now we're at more of what? So we go what? 90. This is what? This is going to be more of a, if you're starting from negativity, it's going to be a 15 degree, and then it goes down to what? All the way down to a 25 to 45. 25, and what is this?
45.
That's a 45. So that's the lowest that we're going to go with our bat angles is 45. Now, these kids are not really working, you know, angle pie charts and stuff like that, you know, 45. But listen, that's why I'm telling y'all, because this is very important for a kid to move forward in their bat swing, okay? So it's easier for me to tell you guys and have it reiterated to them whenever they're working their bat angles than me telling them, because they have no idea what I'm talking about when I say 15 degrees. But they can see with how we work, now we're on a more of a 15 degree, okay? More of a 10, 15. And that keeps our bat. Now when we hit the ball here, we foul the ball off more what? More that way. Now the ball doesn't get fouled off straight up and down, right? Now it doesn't get fouled off here. Now, if we hit it here, it gets fouled off there, or it stays inside the line. We hit more inside this. Now we create more angles to where we can hit the ball with more off the bat. Now we have 5 different angles we can hit off of, right? More 5 spots instead of 3. Now we create 5. This here, we're creating even more. We're creating even more chances to hit the ball here, over to there, to the opposite side. We hit it square, it's a line drive. We get more out in front, it's a more lift and launch. The more we get here, it's more what? Lift and launch. The more we get down here with our bat angle, it's more what? Lift and launch, okay? It's easier to lift and launch a ball with a line drive down here than it is up here. Because up here, you hit just a little bit on top of it, what's gonna happen? It's gonna go way, it's gonna go up in the air. And there's no really launch on the ball. It's more just a pop fly, okay? You guys are swinging the bat like this. So if I throw the ball down here, your hands are doing this. Our hands can't do this. For one thing, we're gonna lock our arms out, and the only thing we can do if we try to catch the ball in front is what? Is roll. And that's what's happening to all these kids. They're dropping their hands to the ball, and it's either by them or they roll over on it. And most of the time it's by them, because we can easily travel the bat head from here down and whip it. Then we can what? Our hands traveling down. Now we're slowing everything down. We're slowing the bat down to get to the ball instead of speeding the bat up to get to the ball. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're down here. This is almost knee high, you know. This is going to be more of a, 20 degree, more of a 20 degree. So now when he goes to swing, his hands are going to stay in the same spot. So his hands stay at the top of the zone, at that 0. If you notice, most guys start where? Here. If they come up here, this is why I don't want any of these kids to start up here, because they stay up here. They stay up. Now they try to swing, what happens? Now they go and then they load, and they're loading their hands where? They're loading their hands here. So now when they have to travel too far down to get to the ball. And a lot of them are traveling down like this. So now it takes way too much time to travel. Instead of just sitting right here in that zone, in that 5 set, hands at the top of the zone. And now when he travels, he's just there. Now he's there traveling instead of here and around. So when he locks out here, what happens? He can't do anything but do what? Either push his hands like a lot of our kids do, push the hands, or do what? Flip it over. This, now that my bat angle is here, now look how far that I can travel that bat head out instead of what? Down here, look how far I can travel the bat head out. That's it. That's the only thing we're going to do with this is what? Pull the ball. My hand's here, what can I do? Even here, so now if the ball's on the outside, now look what I can do. Now I can lift it a lot, and I can still even get the ball, even if it's out here in front on the outside, I can still travel a lot longer to the ball and get more of a lift and launch and line drive than what we can if we try to see. A lot of kids are going to throw the ball on the outside, and the reason why they do that is because all kids do this. No Vice does this. And now they're away from. What happens? What did you see over here? What did you see? So we saw what? Into the bat, into the bat, into the bat all the time. All right, he's going to take a couple of swings. So, watch his hands. So we're just going to sit out in front of him. So, we're going to lift it up. We're going to look at the bat angles right here. This is 0 degree. Just try to see. Just try to see 0 degree. Now we're on a 0 degree.
I'm good.
Now it's just.
That scared the bejeebers out of me. I'm not
Really?
lying. Holy mackerel! I mean, I almost fell off the chair.
Oh, God. I didn't want to scare anybody. Thank God it wasn't a cannonball.
I'm really glad I didn't fall.
Right there. You see how now he's loading, then he sets down, he rotates the hip, and the hands just follow. Now look how the hands follow like this. See, the bat is still connected here. What happens is we're doing this. Now we're the same as if we were going to just roll immediately. Right? Because when we get to here, all we can do is either what? Push and get no power out of it, or we're going to do what? Roll. This is what? This is whip. This is bat lag, whip. That's bat lag and whip. See, he's supplying all this power behind him right here. Look at his wrist. His wrists are where? They're behind it. Even if he goes down, his wrists are going to be where? Behind it. Now when he releases, he's really releasing through the ball. So he hits the ball, and then he does what? Then he rolls. Okay? Couple more this time. Now watch his hands, guys. Hey, you got to pay attention. Listen, this is more of a clinic right here. Most people got to pay a lot of money for this. Come over here. His hands stay. So you see what happens is when it stays flat, the only thing that he can do with this ball right here is what? Hit it square, and if he barely, so you just barely got underneath that. So when he barely gets under, you see what happens? What does it do? Just barely, it goes straight up in the air. There is no launch to it. That's why we don't swing at this. You know, that's why we leave this alone, unless it's a hit and run. Right? So we leave this alone. Now we're going to travel down just a little bit. Now we're on a 10 degree. Now we're on about a 10 with him. It's about a 10 degree. And his hands are going to stay in the same spot, and then he's just going to travel. There you go. So now he hit that ball right here. So he hit the ball right about here, and what happens? He gets a line drive. It's not a rollover, right? It's a hard hit ground ball that scorches. Okay? So because he's here, when he hits it, the ball's going to do what? It takes off. If he gets square with it, what's he going to do? He's going to lift and launch it. He's going to put it in the gap. Okay, again. That's a lift and launch right there. Instead of, if he traveled his hands down like this, what's going to happen here? Roll. And that's what, I'm just telling you, that's what majority of your kids are doing. Majority of your kids are doing that. That's why we're grounding out and popping up all the time. A lot of ground outs. Right? And then if they do, and then you say, oh, that was so good. He hits a line drive. Oh, that was so good. It's just because he caught the ball perfect. Right here. That's the only thing that happened. He caught it perfect. I'm not going to tell them it was a good swing, you know, when they do that. I'm just going to say, hey, man, you got lucky. You got lucky to hit it square in the barrel. So this is what we have to, now we have batting. Now we'll go down a little farther. Now we're going to that 15, maybe that 20 degree plane. There you go, lift and launch. And he's setting the foot down, and all he's staying that spine alignment back. So now everything is staying here back to where he can release all. When he releases this, he has all this chamber. This is what they call, when coaches say staying connected and they have no idea what they're talking about. This is what they're talking, this is what they're trying to say. Is, hey man, you stay connected real well. Because they kept this behind this, that was behind that, hips were behind that, now look at this. All his 4 points were lined up right here, behind the ball. And when he hit the ball, he was behind it. He was not where? In front of it. Now we're traveling. Now how are we traveling? If we get here, this is called reverse weight shift. And this is what a lot of you guys do. Now what are we doing? We're traveling where? Down. Even if I keep my hands up here, I have to travel which way? Down. There's no way that you can get, unless you do, okay, do that right there. That's the only way you can get to that bat angle.
Then you have no power.
Then you lose everything. That's why, hey parents, that's why it's so important that we keep this spine aligned. It's like taking a rod and shooting it through his head all the way down. And that's how we need to stay connected. And that keeps everything back behind this bat. Everything needs to stay behind the bat. If he's here, it's in front of the bat. Now he's in front of the bat. Or if he tries to hit this ball out here, he's just going to go really, really miss. The only chance he has if the ball's right there. To meet it perfect. And we don't want to have to try to meet it perfect. We want to be able to use the length of your bat, your kid's bat. That should be the length that he can hit the ball. This is the areas that he can hit the ball. The length of that bat that he's using, because if his arms are so short or his arms are long, 34 inch, guess what? I have a lot more distance that I can clear with that bat, correct? These kids only have this right here, 28 inches of their back, of that zone, of the hitting zone, what we call the hitting zone. And that's from the drop zone. The drop zone is here. The drop zone starts right here, right in that spine line. That's a ball that you can hit. You're probably going to scorch it to the opposite side. You're never going to be able to pull it. If you try to pull it, you're just going to roll over. So what you do is you just let the ball get in the way, and then you scorch it to the opposite side. It's the only thing you can do with the ball. All right? Okay, let's go again. Let's get back. Watch. Hey, you need to come over here. Look, you especially, because your bat travels like this. Your bat travels like this. That's your plane. The plane should be where? If she has spine alignment, the plane, look at this. Now the plane is where? The plane's always flat and how? And up. How's the ball traveling to you? Especially you guys. How does the ball travel to them? How's the ball travel? Way up. So it starts where? It goes. And down in the strike zone. Most of them. And then unless you get a guy that's really throwing gas. But that's how the ball travels. So how do you have to, so to get a better hitting zone, a more extensive hitting zone, what do you have to do? You have to do what? You have to stay back, and you're flat, and then you have to do what? You have to travel up. Your hands have to travel, the bat head has to travel where? Up. To be able to have more of a hitting zone. If your bat head's always traveling down, you have no hitting. You have one spot that you can hit the ball. Right there. That's it. And it's going to be right with your body, right with your spine line. That's it. That's the only time that you're going to be able to hit the ball. That's why we swing and miss a lot. Because a lot of you guys are traveling that way. We need this right here. Get over here, please. I mean, there's a lot of room. Come over here. So where you can see. And this is okay right here too. This is a 7, guys. This is a 7 set. This is a 7 set right here. That would be a 5 set. You understand? That's the 5-degree angle. So now our pie chart starts doing this, right? So if our pie chart starts moving this way, we start talking about angles this way. So we're talking about 5 set, 7 set, 10 set, all the way to a 25 set, which nobody does that except for if you're in the big leagues. So we want to get more of a 5 set or a 7 set. This is 7 and this is 5, okay? 5 is just like this right here. Very, very minute, right? And then the more you move at 7 all the way to like 25 to 45, which 45 would be what? Really, really wrapped around you. All right, here we go. 7 set. Kind of came around. That's all right. He's old. He's old and decrepit. Really release the hips. Release the hips and go. All right, now we're going way down. Don't travel your hands, travel the bat head. There you go. That's traveling back. Look how he finished. So whenever it's down low, how's the finish going to happen? Where's the finish going to happen? It's going to happen where? It's going to happen way up here. It's going to happen way up there. It has to. If it's down here and you finish like this, that's bad. That's really bad. That means you were probably short. Even if you were short to the ball, you're going to be what? Really, really short through it, correct? You're going to be short, short. We want to be what? Short, long. We want to be able to extend the whole reach of that zone, that extensive zone, correct? So we want to really get the bat head to where we can really travel the bat head long as possible through the zone. If my hands are here, I cannot travel long through the zone. See that? Look at this. Here, no zone. Here, zone. Long zone. Got it?
Short and long.
Short and long. Short to it, long to it. But his hands have to stay where? Hands have to stay in this what? In this area right here. If the hands drop in this area, we're bad. It's really, really bad. Hands got to stay there. The bat head has to travel down. There you go. And that's just bat head traveling with a lot of speed, a lot of whip and speed. A lot of you guys are pushing through the ball. We need to do what? We need to whip our hands through the ball. We need to keep our hands at a higher set. And I'm not talking about high up here. I'm talking about right here in the top of the zone. Start your hands on top of the zone, and then just let the bat head filter down the zone. All right? Hands always. Hands need to be always above what?
Your waist.
Baseball.
Yes, above the baseball, which means above the bat head. We need it always above the hands. Need to always be above the bat head, the bat head and the baseball. Right? Always. That way our wrist can do what? Our wrist can release through the zone instead of what? Roll. Here I can't do nothing but what? I have to push, or I have to do what? Roll. Here I can release through the zone. Right?
I have no power this ball.
None. You lose everything. We want to release the full extent of our zone. This is our zone that we want to hit in right here. We want to be able to hit the ball here hard. We want to be able to hit the ball here hard. And we want to be able to hit the ball here hard. Okay? See, this is where the wrists are releasing. Now the wrists are released. This is the farthest point because look, now we're out of the zone. Now we're out of the plate zone. We've completely released out of the plate zone. All right? Here, I'm still where? In the plate zone. I'm still in the zone, able to hit the ball all the way to this point here. This right here gets me out of the zone now. Now I'm out of the zone. But at least I stayed in the zone a long time, right? I stayed in the hitting zone a long time. If he throws a change up, I stayed in the hitting zone a long time. I'm able to continue through that hitting zone. Even though I'm out in front, I'm able to hit it hard because I stayed through the hitting zone long. That's what they talk about when they say staying through that hitting zone and staying a long time through it. Am I wasting my breath here?
No.
I hope not, God. Man, I'm
We
gonna
are
get
filming
bored.
you so that we can look at this.
All right, here we go. Again. Hands travel. There you go. So hands are just traveling very minute down, and then the bat head does the rest. It allows us to stay flat, elevate. Flat, elevate. Here, no elevation, just roll. Or I hit it square. And that's the only spot. Okay? You understand that? I'm going to let you take 5 hacks off this tee. Every one of you guys. Okay?